So have you just started in a gym and you see some people talk about using free weights because, well, they're the best, and then you have some people who are like, no, all I'm going to do is use machines and I'm going to get stronger and bigger using machines. So which one's better? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today, and hopefully by the end of this video you'll have a much better idea and you'll be able to make an informed decision as to what you're going to use based on your program. Hi, I'm Bobby, and my goal is to simplify the world of fitness and help you get a better understanding when it comes to nutrition and training. So context matters when it comes to picking equipment. First question I always say to anyone who says to me, you know, well, is it better to use free weights or machines? I say, what is your training goal? Your answer to that question will then determine which path you should choose. But before we go into the debate of free weights versus machines, the rule number one with any type of training that you do, regardless, you have to train hard enough. You have to get your macros right. You have to get your nutrition right. You have to get your sleep right. You have to get your recovery right. These are the ultimate determining factors whether you're going to be successful or not. Picking free weights over machines won't matter. The person who has the other factors nailed on will see better results. So when should you use free weights? So if the answer to your first question, what is your goal, is powerlifting, I would almost go as far as saying that free weights are an absolute must. Look at it this way. It is really, really hard to get better at deadlifting without actually deadlift. If your long-term goal is to become a power lifter, you have to be using free weights. You have to be doing barbell squats. You have to be doing deadlifts and all the other exercises like bench press in order to become a better power lifter. Now, what are the downsides when it comes to using free weights? Well, the main thing to keep in mind is fatigue levels. Using free weights, you will generate a lot more general fatigue, or systemic fatigue it's called, because most barbell exercises such as squat, bench press, deadlifts, they're called compound movements, and what that means is they utilize multiple muscle groups in order to lift that weight. So when you're deadlifting, you're using your glutes, your hamstrings, your back, your upper back, all those areas, and they're all going to be fatigued at the end of a working set. So your recovery time has to be adequate. And the other thing to keep in mind is, and that's especially important for novice lifters, is when they start training and they say go and do squats, usually what's going to give out is their back, not their quads. Their back's not going to be strong enough to be able to carry the weight that their legs are capable of lifting. So you're not really ever going to be fatiguing your quads fully. So the obvious answer to when to use machines is then when your goal is to train for aesthetics. So if you're a bodybuilder, someone who just wants to look a little bit better without necessarily worrying about numbers or without entering any kind of powerlifting competitions, then in my opinion, I would strongly suggest you jump on machines. And there's a number of reasons for that. Reason number one why I would suggest you jump on machines if you're looking for aesthetics is the reduced risk of injury. A machine generally travels along a fixed path of motion. So what that means is you generally cannot get form wrong, and therefore the risk of you getting injured is a lot lower. I mean, we've all seen those videos where bars come crashing down or pecs tear off when people are using free weights. There's not that many videos of that about online where people get injured using machines. The other big difference as well between free weights and machine weights is with machines, you generally only create local fatigue. A hack squat will generally only tire your quads out, as opposed to a barbell squat, which will tire your back out as well as your quads and your glutes. The range of motion differs generally between using free weights and machines. So let's take a look at a barbell squat, for example. We've seen enough half rep Harrys in the gym, quarter of the depth, but they're loading the bar up properly. They're not truly working their quads. Whereas using something like a hack squat machine or a pendulum allows you to get a lot more range of motion. And we know that the more stretch we can apply to a muscle, the more muscle you're going to be able to build. Squatting to depth is all fine and good if you're looking to build strength, but a machine will allow you to go to depth way beyond what most free weights allow you to go safely. Machines will ultimately allow you to train your muscles at a much bigger range of motion, which will allow you to create more mechanical tension, which is the ultimate driver for building muscle. Now, the other point I wanted to make of free weights versus machine is every muscle has something called a strength profile. So take the quads, for example. When you fully squat it down, your quads are going to be weakest at that point and strongest when you're standing up. Now, a machine that matches that strength profile really well is a pendulum squat. So the pendulum is easiest at the bottom and hardest at the top. So this resistance profile of the machine matches the strength profile of your quads. As I mentioned at the beginning, training hard is the most important factor. Free weights, machines, they're ultimately just tools. So according to my personal goals, I prefer using machines because it allows me to train a lot more optimally, and my goal is ultimately aesthetics. I did used to train with free weights because for me it was about chasing numbers at the beginning, but now it's all about just building as much muscle as possible. So hopefully this video has given you a bit more of an insight as to what to pick, whether you're going to choose machines or whether you're going to choose free weights, and you've got a bit more of an understanding as to what aligns better with your goals. So if you're new to training and you don't know where to get started, I've got a plan down in the description, which is a 3-day full body split, and it's mainly focused on machines. It's completely free, and the idea behind the plan is to just give you a lot of confidence when you're just starting out in the gym. But if you've already got a plan but you're unsure as to how to calculate your macros, go and watch this video where I go in depth and explain how to calculate your calories, your proteins, your carbs, and your fats. So thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.